Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. It is me, Duke CT, and man, what a week it has been. It has been one heck of a week in the world of entertainment. Well, honestly, I was gonna originally talk about the Batgirl stuff, but it seems we got that Warner Brothers conference call. And there are some things they talked about and such. Discovery CEO defends acting Batgirl. Like, we're not going to put a movie out unless we believe in it. Right here, there's a quote here. Let's get into it. Exactly, let's go. I see Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav addressed the company's controversial decision this week to cancel the release of Batgirl and Scoob Holiday Hunt during the company's quarter two curtains call on Thursday, which I listened. It was a very interesting call. It's like, we're not going to launch our movie until it's ready, Zaslav said during a Q&A. Approaching the call when asked directly about Batgirl getting the axe. We're not going to launch a movie to make a quarter, and we're not going to put our movie out unless we believe in it. During the presentation, Zaslav repeatedly pointed to company's DC superhero properties, including Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, as a central company broader content strategy. To better marshal these properties, Zaslav cited he's previously reported goal of putting together a team with a 10-year plan focusing on just DC. Certain reports Disney has was talking with Marvel Studios as well as Kevin Feige, but he did not announce who will be heading the team. These are brands that are known everywhere around the world, he said. As a part of that, we're going to focus on quality. DC is something that we could make better and we're focused on now. Zaslav mentioned quality repeatedly when discussing DC, strongly implying that Batgirl was not up to the standards that he believes is necessary for the adaptation of the wider comic book property. The objective is to grow the DC brand and to grow the DC characters, he said. But also our job is to protect the DC brand, and that's what we're going to do. Zaslav name checked Black Adam, Shazam 2, and The Flash as DC features that he's very excited about. We've seen them, and we think they're terrific, and we think we can make them even better. Zaslav mentioned The Flash, currently scheduled to debut next June, as particularly meaningful as Ezra Miller is facing multiple allegations of abuse and misconduct, and neither the actor nor studio have to address publicly. This isn't to sell two nearly completed feature films, including a superhero property with a $90 million budget, stunned the wider industry. On Wednesday, Batgirl directors Aldi El Abib and Bali Falah, Bad Boys for Life, and Miss Marvel, both directed, I think, 2 episodes for Miss Marvel, and the recent Bad Boy, I think Bad Boys 3, I think that was it. Recent statement that was saddened and shocked by the news, and star Leslie Grace said she was proud of the love and hard work and attention of all of the incredible cast and tireless crew to put on the film. And I feel the same way. They worked really hard, and it sucks for not only her, but for Michael Keaton and for, Brendan Fraser. He was starring as Firefly. He was going to star as Firefly, and it sucks because, man, Brendan Fraser is, the dude is great. And it's a shame that he never really got as much as love that he disappeared after the Mummy movies, and, was, went through a bit of divorce, and he, was sexually assaulted, by, I think, a movie producer, and such. And then I think his mom died a years later. He had a rough couple years, and since Doom Patrol and the critically acclaimed of that, he really got his fan base back again. So I hope that this won't be too much of a stumbling block for him, because he's one of the most. People will love to root for him every time. People really do love Brendan Fraser. Anyway. On Tuesday, Variety reported the main driver of the decision was to shift the company's strategy away from creating feature films exclusive to HBOMax, as was the case of Batgirl and Scoob Holiday Hunt, following the merger of Warner Bros. Discovery. The idea of expensive films going direct to streaming, we can't find an economic case for it. We can't find an economic value to it, so we're making a strategic shift, as I said during the QA. He also addressed the shift during his opening remarks in the quarter two earnings call. We fully embrace theatrical as we believe that creates interest and demand, provides a great marketing tailwind, and generates word-of-mouth buzz as films transition to streaming and beyond. We have a different view on the wisdom of releasing, directing, and streaming films, and we have taken some aggressive steps to course-correct the previous strategy. During the presentation, CFO Gunnar Whitefield cited the strategy by the previous leadership at Warner Media, namely Jason Keller and Aaron Saronoff, to bankroll select-directed HBOMax film as lacking sufficient support to sustain. He cited the Wonder Twins movie, which was in pre-production, and the nitty-gritty Batgirl and Scoob Holiday Hunt as examples of streaming films that do not fit his strategic approach. Whitefield said to cancel those projects was a difficult decision, but the company is committed to being disciplined about the framework that guides our comfortable investment for maximum return. The trade losses from canceling films, the company said to take a tax write-off on movies, citing a shift in strategy in the wake of the merger, but the strategy was not addressed during the earnings call. Okay. Let's see. Well, anyway, speaking of that, let's talk about as HBOMax as a whole. Let's see where get the stuff here. And he says right here this the biggest, he says to lean to the future. Warner Brothers Discovery chaff, tons of shows in strategic limbo. Unlike previous Warner Brothers CEO Jason Keller, who centered the company around HBOMax, Zaslav is pulling back from streaming first mindset to keep the company's theatrical and traditional pay TV business as long as possible. Zaslav on Tuesday reiterated his stance. Stance that Warner Bros. Discovery isn't going to approach the streaming wars race as a race to win the most subscribers. His comments comes as Netflix lost more than 60% of its value in the past year after subscriber growth stopped for the first time in a decade, causing media and entertainment companies to rethink their streaming strategies, which we're going to be talking most about this in this point right here because the streaming world is not looking too good. Warner Bros. Discovery formally announced it will release a combined HBOMax Discovery Plus product in the U.S. mid-2020, mid next year. So mid next year, I can finally sit back and finally watch. I almost got away with it. Just stream that for hours and all the other Discovery shows that people don't think that no one watches. Like, oh, nobody watches this. Well, people do. People watch that stuff. All right. It says, company set the target of 130 million global subscribers by 2025. That's about 40 million more customers than subscribe to HBOMax and Discovery Plus today, but still a far cry from the 21 million subscribers that pay for Netflix worldwide. Zaslav made a point to say he's a believer in both movie theater releases and longevity of traditional TV as a cash generator and great business for us for many years to come. During this company's second quarter earnings conference call on Thursday, but he's also committed to spending significantly more on HBO Max and adding Discovery programming to the streaming service. Keller made waves during the pandemic by putting his entire 2021 film slate on HBO Max at the same time movies hit theaters. While that turned out to be a temporary move, Keller later stood by the transition as simply the first to shift. The former CEO says this, quote, "History is already looking at it quite favorably, Keller said in an April interview with Deadline. It worked. We're the first over that wall. Zaslav on Thursday, today, in stark contrast, made a point to emphasize the importance of theatrical release for big budget movies by scrapping Batgirl this week, which Keller had ticketed to launch directly on HBO Max. Launching expensive movies directly to streaming does not make economic sense. That's what said Batgirl cost $90 million to make. Our conclusion is expensive direct-to-streaming movies in terms of how people are consuming them on that platform, how often people buy a service for them, how they get nourished over time, is no comparison to what happens when you launch a film in theaters. This idea of expensive films going direct to streaming, we can't find an economic value for it, and so we're making a strategic shift. It's not Zaslav's first reset during his tenure. kind of also pushed the launch of CNN Plus, a $300 million effort to give CNN a digital streaming strategy. Some of the back girls decided to kill the streaming service before it got a chance to prove itself as successful. And honestly, a really good decision because, quite honestly, no one really cares about CNN and buying CNN. Wait, what shows, what things can they have? Or they can just sit back and watch CNN there on, they still live stream news and everything for free or whatever. And honestly, I can have news come directly to my phone with like Google News or, AP Wire or anything else that wouldn't cost me like extra $5 or whatever. So, yeah, I don't think CNN Plus was a brilliant idea. In fact, it was a terrible idea and a waste of money. And Zaslav said Thursday he believed the strength of live news is on traditional pay TV rather than streaming. That's just CNN live program won't be going to HBOMax and Discovery Plus product when it launches or anytime soon. We see live news as critical to the linear pay TV service, Zaslav said. Choosing to push HBOMax while also trying to slow the decline of box office and linear pay TV is a juggling act. But it's also applied to modern media CEO. Moving too far into the future cannibalizes cash flow positive businesses. It may not be strategically clean, but it's the hand that Zaslav excuse me. But it's the hand Zaslav is choosing to play. I've been around a long time, Zaslav said, and that he hung around with former General Electric CEO Jack Welch when he ran NBC Universal, where Zaslav worked. Broadcast was dead in the 90s, or that's what people said. But in the end, the reach and the ability to drive advertising product was that kept it alive. We're big believers in overall reach, and we think that's going to help us. And honestly, I think probably smart. Because quite honestly, you look at what's going on with, for example, you see, stuff like Peacock and such, which, by the way, let me see, the streaming wars thing. Then, let's see if I can find the stuff. Let me just see if I can find the because I saw this earlier. Like, here it is. January they lost $1.7 billion. They're losing money and losing stuff. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. I gotta see. There's like, it's only January stuff. I'll just see if I can find more. See more. Let's see. Let's see. Here it is. Right here. We just saw this in TechCrunch. Yeah. Just accept this. Just go. I just want to read the article. Here we are. Okay. Let me just get this stuff here. Let me just stop sharing this thing, and let me just share it here. Peacock. Once again, this is again by Peacock has stayed flat at 13 million, and the losses have grown 46 million. The Peacock, the streaming service Comcast Universal, NBC Universal, ended the second quarter with 13 million paid subscribers. Parent company Comcast reported this morning in the first quarter there are 13 million paying subscribers out of 28 million monthly accounts. Let me repeat that. Let me just put this right here. In the first quarter of the year, there were 13 million customers out of 28 million monthly active accounts. This is a huge loser, and this actually has no growth. Peacock is basically it's been running on fumes for a long, long while. And it says right here, it's revealed a loss of Peacock run at 466 million. Adjusted loss for last year they lost 363 million. And then now Comcast shares has declined 6% in pre-market trading, and Ross is exactly it's 8% year overall increase. But the company is basically trying to beg their shareholders not to bail on this. And honestly, if I was a shareholder, I would have probably left. Like, oh, the shareholders like, oh, the streamer, oh, which house has a free ad-supported tier, had a very strong first quarter that was driven by a variety of extraordinary programming. They're just really they're trying so hard to spend this, trying to put lipstick on the pig and such, but it's not working. It's not. It's not working. And this right here is one of the problems here, ladies and gentlemen, is that these streaming companies, it's stalling. And Netflix is going down. 13 million paid subscribers. Really? Look at this. 13 million paid out of 28 million. And is this success? This is NBC Universal's a huge company, one of the biggest companies out there, and they can't get people to go to a streaming service. They said one the company did not. It says right here back in April, they just only 4 million paid subscribers addition, were largely thanks to the Super Bowl and the range. So gimmicks. Nothing is tangible. There is nothing tangible for Peacock owners and such. And so what about the WWE? What about the WWE? A niche product which only had a 1.5 million service. In fact, man, how many WWE Network subscribers made the jump to Peacock and stayed there the past years? The answer is not, I bet. The answer is like maybe 500,000, and they're probably gone. It's like, I guarantee you, it's probably at least the number of WWE Network subscribers who actually watch and still enjoy it are probably around maybe 100,000. Maybe 75,000 left, original WWE Network subscribers. After I was like, if Peacock gave me a free service thing, because I was a WWE Network, like, hey, give me a free service. That's the only time I will watch it. But here, Peacock, doesn't work. I don't care. I didn't care. And then sports are easy money making. And it's like, we got W streaming home with WWE Network. It's all offered for the Peacock stuff. We got open tournaments, Sunday Night Football. But again, these are gimmicks. What is the one thing that can bring them there? Because sports is nice, but what about, again, what happens when you have, for example, internet issues? Like, when there's a ton of, the problem with Peacock's, people who watch Peacock, that's with WE. I remember Money in the Bank last year. There were like so much like bad, everything would look wonky and everything like that. And there's still probably issues like that today. They ironed them out. Hopefully, I ironed all of them out. But that stuff looks, people are like, okay, we can't watch this stuff anymore. Or they go and pirate this stuff. So, that sort of thing is that they're trying so hard to bring these new, doing sports and WE and everything else. That is like an easy money maker, but is it really sustainable? And like I said, 13 million out of 28 million monthly, 13 million paying customers out of 28 million active accounts. What is going on with Peacock? What is going on? This is bad. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if someone out there, if it continues this not on growth and it keeps losing money, I expect there's going to be a bit of axing here too. They are not getting any money. They're trying, it's advertising and all this other stuff is. You have $10 billion of advertising, but yet it's still not getting people to watch your shows. They're trying so hard with these. Look at these gimmicks. Look at this. A few months per the summer tough that rewards paid subscribers with $15 movie tickets via Fandango or $7. Oh my! This again, gimmicks. Gimmicks. Once you start using gimmicks to try to sell your service, it's done. It's a wrap. And this right here, man, this might be the main issue. streaming might not be the moneymaker. And to me, I don't know well, I want to see how much. Now we got the question about Disney Plus. What are they doing? We don't, I mean, what are they looking at right now? And then right here, I mean, they're using, they're getting stuff, but now, supposedly, let me just look at the, right here. This is a very interesting article. This last month. Okay, whatever, yada, yada. Stuff. But thank goodness I got ads. Okay. Let me just stop this. Peacock's failure. We're going to move it here. We're going to show you this here. We're going to I'm getting more stuff here. Bloomberg, European edition and such, it says, Disney Plus, they could lose many as 20 million of its Disney Plus subscribers. After being outbid for the streaming rights to Indian Premier League cricket matches this week. The estimate of media partners Asia means the company may have trouble reaching its goal as many as 260 million global Disney Plus subscribers by 2024, according to Kiko, executive director of the research firm. IPL drives customer acquisition. It's regarded as entertainment, not just sports, by Indian households, women, and men. Few consumer products have been as successful as Disney Plus. The service, which offers unlimited Disney movies and TV shows, garnered 10 million subscribers on its first day in November 2019 and boasted at 138 million at last count. Chief Executive Office Chapek made a bold forecast in late 2020, projecting the company will triple its subscriber count in 4 years. About 50 million, more than one-third of the worldwide subscribers, came from Disney Plus. Hotstar, a product offered in India and other South Asian nations, and cricket has been a big driver of that. For months, investors have been debating whether the company will have to lower its forecast. The drumbeat after a weak quarter last year continued after Netflix Inc. recorded its first subscriber loss in a decade in April. Disney's shares are down 39% this year. Disney lost the cricket bidding war to a group that includes Paramount Global and India Reliance Industries. While Disney lost the streaming rights, it retained rights for broadcasts on traditional networks, agreeing to pay nearly $3 billion over 5 years to broadcast the games. The company has some 70 channels in India, distributed by cable and satellite TV operators. In a statement Tuesday, Disney said it can still use those traditional channels to promote Disney Plus Hotstar. We have disciplined bids with a focus of long-term value, the company said. Subscribers to Disney Plus Hotstar pay only $76 a month on average for the service, versus a standard fee of $8 a month in the U.S. for Disney Plus. That's annualized revenue of less than $500 million, making it hard to justify the highly year IPL right fees. Chapek said in February he didn't see a loss of cricket streaming rights impacting the long-term Disney Plus forecast, as the company has other content they call for Indian subscribers. It's not like we see the business evaporating if we don't get it, he said. Some analysts see an opportunity for the company to change its guidance with the cricket loss. It's important for Disney to use IPL to reset expectations to the more manageable range, Barclays analyst Keenan Vaneskar wrote in a research note Tuesday. A lower forecast may not have much impact on the stock at this point, he wrote, because investors are already factoring in that likelihood. Disney shares rose 1.7% to $9.79 at 9:53 a.m. in New York, where they had slid 39% this year through Thursday. Disney didn't comment on the subscriber guidance Tuesday. It usually does that during quarterly earnings and other events for investors. And looking at this, I'm not seeing much, by the way. Let's see a lot of positive stuff, ladies and gentlemen, but nothing there. I don't see anything there. It's very interesting. And now we had to ask this question. The question now is that maybe streaming isn't the biggest, is streaming important? Is streaming really the future? is streaming going to be the actual thing that will bring people, to bring these companies to the promised land? Netflix has pretty much, well, killed off its own thing. I mean, Netflix, when you think of Netflix original, it used to be like, well, this could be good. Now it's like, oh my gosh, get that thing away from me. Netflix doesn't have that type of, because they just greenlit everything, and now that name means garbage. With David Zaslav, what he's doing is probably what he sees. He doesn't want HBOMax being. He doesn't want HBOMax basically being this hacky, just you can fit anything up there. It's quality, not quantity. And that's that's hurting Netflix in the bum right now, and they're cutting off stuff as well. And even though and it's really messed up that Netflix is just looking not really. They need to maybe they need to start reeling in because they're hurting their animation departments. And heck, Warner Bros. Discovery is doing the same thing as well, cutting down their animation stuff as well. And it's sad. And it looks like it's going to be a big change. These are going to be really big changes. I don't know what's going to be the future of I don't know what's going to be the future here. I don't know where this is all going to lead. Will it be better content? My heart says I hope so. I want better content. Are they going to really release these movies and try to figure out the DC? I don't know. Are they going to is this going to be basically used in other? I think they're going to start cutting stuff as well in other things. I wouldn't be surprised if this streaming and this stuff is getting cost, because again, people are like, well, Marvel and MCU make money. Well, MCU is not looking too good. I'm not saying, oh, they're woke and they're going, but no, it's just like the problem with the MCU right now and everything else is like they get that one big hit week and they just decline and everything. Which problem with movies altogether? They had that one hit week and then they just decline like 68 and everything else. I mean, the last movie I think that had like a significant number one status, and because that sort of thing I remember was Batman. Spider-Man, No Way Home, and everything else just that's to me that was felt like memorable stuff. While you have the MCU, you have just things that just not as memorable, not as memorable and everything. Because I look at something like Miss Marvel, which is not getting. Let's see. I mean, what's going on? I mean, Miss Marvel is, it's not really, that to me right here. And I'm just ashamed because I think there is some good stuff in Miss Marvel. That stuff right here. Let me just look here. Share this thing. I mean, regardless what you think of it, it just, to me, it's heartbreaking to people who really put work in everything else about it, is that Marvel has rave reviews, but no one's really connecting with the character, which is a shame. There's a lot of these movies, and, Marvel had, opened to 750,000 households. Loki had 2.5. Moon Knight had 1.8. You see, right here, there's no one there watching. Why isn't the audience watching and keeping there? And heck, it's connected to Captain Marvel, which got $1 billion in the box office. What is going on? I don't know what is the solution there? I don't know what it is. Maybe it is the racism stuff like. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe people just don't want to watch. They don't really know. But hey, the young people are watching. I mean, the households with Black and Hispanic and Asian are watching a higher rate than the rest. It's performing where it should. The target audience do its conclusiveness, but it's just not really getting those high views. It's not getting the high views, which is a shame because again, I haven't watched the show. The stuff I did see, it seemed interesting. So I think that maybe I don't know what it is that Marvel. I think the problem is maybe they just feel, it feels like the characters maybe does have a connection with the older fan base and such. It does have a connection, which is it just I don't know. It just was it good, bad, or whatever. Just I don't know why it doesn't have that connection, with the audience and everything. Black, like I said, black watching. Let's see, Asians, man, all the stuff. The POC collective are watching it, but yet majority of people don't watch. They don't care for it. You know, is it because every last one of them are evil racist or something? Probably not. Maybe they're just they just hit burnout with the MCU. They're just like, well, maybe they'll come back around to it. I think that's one of the main reasons. I think there's just MCU burnout, and the fact you have this whole VFX stuff that's coming out from around that and such. That's VFX artists are really just overworked, and they lay in the figure at Marvel. So I think that could be frustrating of that too. I mean, I think they had She-Hulk people. She-Hulk had to say talk about the VFX artists and say how good they work and everything else. I mean, I don't know if it's gonna hurt She-Hulk, but maybe people are just gonna be like, they're just gonna be so tired of that. Like they're tired of seeing VFX artists not getting work or whatever. We're not getting paid for the work. They're getting angry at the huge mega corporation Disney. Maybe let's just stop watching. Who knows? But this is again I mean, who knows? Maybe there is some things more talk about this, but people who are smarter than me, if you are, tell me why this is happening. Why is no one watching? Or why is no one watching Peacock? Why is no one subscribing to stuff? Why do you believe that this is like David Zaslav believed that no one's going to be like Batgirl was really going to be terrible? Who knows? Well, I want to have to leave that to y'all, ladies and gentlemen. Leave that to the people. At least some in the comment section below. Anyway, we're going to take a small little break, and when we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be talking about AEW. Well, that connects to Warner Brothers and Discovery. About the new talent, their new talents. And we'll be right back. Right? New talent relation stuff, by the way. We're going to talk about that. We'll be right back right after this.